Hello everyone, and welcome to my first ever project. This video is uploaded alongside an introduction video I made where I posted all of the gear and unboxing and setting up process of all my new equipment. So if you didn't see that one and it's something you're interested in, you can go check that out. Otherwise, let's jump straight into this little practice kit. So this is pretty basic. I got it from AliExpress for about $2, and it's just a bunch of resistors and a bunch of LEDs. And it's just kind of to teach me how to use my multimeter and to try and solder for the first time. So it took me a while to understand what was going on with my multimeter because I was putting the probes on them and I was getting such varying numbers. Obviously I knew there was supposed to be 8 different resistance levels, but I was getting some that were saying 470 and some that were saying like 4.7. And I was looking for ones that were like 47,000, so there you can see I got 4.7, 47, 470, 330, and I wasn't understanding where the 47,000 ones or 2,000 ones were. So after Googling and mucking around for about 15 minutes, I realized that it was automatically changing. I don't know why I was surprised by that. It's literally what the function does. So the 47.1s were the 47,000s. So that 4.76 is... So after finally figuring that out, I've come back and sorted them from lowest to highest resistance. And I'm just testing them for a last time before I put them in. So that first one we had 330 ohms, this one is 470 ohms, and then we have 990, which is 1,000, and then we have a 2.2, which is 2,200, and then 4.7, 4,700 ohms, followed by a 10,000, 9.8 it was reading there, so 9,800, 21.98, which is the 22,000, and finally 47 for 47,000. And Google tells me that they can have a 1 to 5% variance, so that's why the numbers are a little off sometimes. Now after playing this back and watching it, I really wanted to cut this from the video. But I figured I'd keep it in just to show how clueless I really am. I saw that 0 on the multimeter and I was just thinking, what on earth are you doing, you idiot? So here I am just kind of putting everything together to get a feel for what it's going to look like and if I'm on the right track. Here you can see me struggling with some sellotape again. If you watch my previous video, you'll know what I mean. And also using my tweezers to pick things up because I have no nails. So here's like a little jack, that's where the power goes, and also a switch, and then it also came with these little metal legs with screws. Now I'm not actually 100% sure what they were for. I didn't know if it was for grounding or literally just for it to stand up. So maybe someone could let me know. That'd be appreciated, thank you. So I'm putting the legs in anyway. So now I'm about to use my soldering iron for the very first time. You can see me mucking around with things, scared to start moving things around like that's going to do anything. But then I finally do get into it. Putting the flux down for the first time. It was a lot more sticky than I was expecting. A lot of the videos I watch, I think there must be a different kind. It looks more liquidy. This was kind of like a glue almost. And here I go. My big head in the way. Here I am, just taking it nice and slow, trying to do my best. feeling like a professional using it for the very first time. And thankfully I do hold it up closer for a better look. And the camera quality is actually pretty decent. I was quite surprised for a phone. Hopefully the solder is just as good quality. So it looks like I have zoomed in the camera a little bit, but it's still not close enough, and my big ass head is still in the way, so baby steps. So here I'm using some nail cutters to trim the legs off of the resistors because I tried to use some house pliers and they were just way too big. And after googling I saw that I need something called flush cutters. To be honest, the nail cutters were actually pretty good at cutting through this. So maybe I'll just stick with these for now. I'm missing a little clip here, but I actually switched to the fine point tip for my solder because the flat one was way too big for this switchboard here, which is what I'm putting in now. So I'll just speed this up while I solder through this switch. And it actually, the head on this one was still feeling too big. It might have been a good idea and a good excuse to switch to one of my smaller handles. You can see me struggling a little bit here with these. I'm hitting like 2 of the pads at a time on most of them, but I get through it in the end. So here I'm just lining up all the LEDs and I'm going to solder these on. And I actually switched the tip of the flux here because it just feels like it's coming out so slowly. And then I switched to the slightly bigger one, and then this one's actually coming out too fast. The other one was probably the correct one, but it doesn't matter that much. And then I'm just going through here with the solder. I thought I was doing a really good job, but who knows. Just speed through this because the quality's not the greatest. Doing the other side now of the LED legs. And there we go. There we go, back to my trusty nail cutter. The legs on these ones are a lot more stiff, so when I cut them off they were flying everywhere a little bit. So here I am turning it around, making sure they don't fly into my eyeballs. But I was still pretty surprised at how easily the nail cutter was getting through. I might actually just keep using these. If I find a reason to get the flush cutters, I'll switch to those, but for now these are okay. And there we go, we're up to the final piece. It's a little power jack. I didn't really know that that was for the power input until after I'd finished. I don't even have the power lead that goes into it, so I couldn't even use that. But I have a little workaround which I'm pretty proud of, if I do say so. And by that I mean I spent 10 minutes googling a solution. So pretty much everything I do, the information is going to be coming from Google and trial and error. And there we have it. I officially finished the little practice kit. After turning it around, I'm seeing how poorly my soldering was. The lights were like crooked and not flush with the board and everything. So after realizing I couldn't test it and doing my little Google search, I got this battery pack from my other AliExpress test kit and Googled where to put them to see if I could at least test it. And to my surprise, it worked. Everything worked completely fine, so I guess everything I did was correct, whether it looked good or not. And then after that I was thinking, what should I do with it? Should I just finish it there? And then I decided to actually attach the battery pack to the power input. Again, I would have had no idea how to do this. I googled where to put them. And then I soldered it on just for the sake of saying I completely finished it. And there we have it. My first ever practice kit completed. No mistakes, visually not very nice. Could have done better there, but you know, practice makes perfect. And that brings us to the end of the video. If you stuck around, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time.